Hello, YouTube modeling community. This is Rusty Rotor. If you notice by the thumbnail, it is time. This was a little background story. This was supposed to be the build for Acme. That did not happen, of course. That along with Project Shorty. I want to thank everybody for all the great comments, all the views, everything on that. It means a lot to me. It meant a lot to Justin, which is the owner of the real truck. Again, guys, go back and watch the last video. His link is down in my descriptions. Go check out the truck. Show him some love. Leave him a comment. He'd really appreciate that, especially with the story behind the truck. Now, this is totally something completely different. Disclaimer, warning, whatever you want to call it. Please watch the video all the way through. This will be a little lengthy because we got a lot to cover. And then from here, there'll be just short update videos as I have time to do them and show you the progress on the build. I've spent 24 hours now, over 3 days, working on the body. Remember, this is a trans kit. Check out MGSF or check with Joel Iceman Collections. I believe he's going to be, last time I checked, he had it in his inventory. I don't know if it's been released yet, but it'll be a lot easier, a little cheaper to get this versus paying all the overseas shipping, and it takes about a month to get it from where it comes from. So far, I got to say, I've made a few mistakes, and there's been a few, not design flaws by any means, but printer flaws that just didn't get caught. But it's nothing that we can't work around, and you as modelers as well will be able to work around that. I've been watching a lot of videos, especially to kind of up my game. This is going to be a big build, packed full of detail, inside, out, underneath the hood. The inspiration for this, you'll have seen it at the very beginning of the video. The artist, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. I'd have to look at my phone, but me, I'm never prepared to make a video. I just kind of go by the seat of my pants. Fantastic design. I had some input on this design, so I'm grateful that he took my input and he applied some of it. Some of it he didn't, but he is the designer. So at the end of the day, I was just grateful that he sent me a copy of it to build. Now, any 1966 fastback Mustang, and to be honest, you might be able to squeak this in on a 67 or 68. It may take a little extra work, body, putty, all that stuff to get it to work, but you may luck up and get this to adapt to that as well. But it has to be 1/24 scale. We ordered this, I don't know, years ago for a different build, and I was curious. I wanted a roll cage in this. I was blown away that it actually fits perfect. We did modify the interior tub back here for the roll cage to go back through. I don't even have to tell you about it. I can just show you. Get it in there. Fits like a glove. And this is just a universal roll cage. This came off of the other one that's like Colts. I can't ever remember the name of it. It's not from an individual. It's, you go in there and you find something you want and they print it out for you, and, you pay the price for the part and the shipping. It wasn't that expensive. But, if you're looking for a universal roll cage for one of your builds, I'll do my best to try to remember where to hell it came from. But, you know, anybody that's a good scratch builder could build the same thing. Or, you know, go on Cults and, or find somebody that does designing that can make this roll cage for you. And like I said, it is universal, but it just absolutely fits in here perfect. I'll put the interior tub up in the body so you can see. So there you can see. And you look through, just perfect. It could have been a little bit taller. I'm not going to change the trajectory of the roll cage and have all those nasty seams and spend 10-15 hours, you know, filling in gaps and all that other stuff. But I like the way it sits. When it's in here, it doesn't interfere with the seats or any of the other detail that'll be going in here. And that'll kind of lead me to what we're going to do. We have the optional back seat. We're going to put that in place because this doesn't interfere with that. This part right here. And we're going to have a nitrous tank in the back of that behind this. That way that'll be visible. They do give you a nice little shifter. I cut the shifter knob off this part. This is your e-brake for drifting. I'm going to drill this out and I'm going to install a metal, like a pin, a sewing pin with the round ball on it. I want to change it up a little bit. It actually goes this way, but this fits like right where it's supposed to be. You know, down, it's going to be hard to see. There you go. You can kind of see. Whoop, there it went. The seats are kind of a Recaro style racing seat. They do have some detail on the ends, like the levers and stuff like that. Even though you'll never see that, so if you don't want to paint it, I wouldn't bother. But as you guys can see, I mean, the roll cage just goes right down in there. The seats don't turn it this way, so you can see. The seats don't deter it at all. They don't push the seats out of the way. I've had them both sitting down in here. I'll do it again. It's just kind of like it was meant to be. And I love that. When it comes together, that's less work for me in the design phase and the scratch building phase. It also comes with, you got to shave your door handles off, your door opener and your window crank, and they give you replacements for those. Our interior will be two-toned, as you can tell by the picture at the beginning of the video of the actual inspiration picture, I guess. I'm painting it almost exactly. There will be a little change to it, not much, but those colors will carry off and into the interior. So, for example, the roll cage will be orange. The door panels will be orange. Instead of being a chrome trim separating those, it'll be black. Black all around where the door handles go, and the door handles will be chrome. We're still sticking with some of the chrome features that the car would have. We're using photo etch pedals that'll go on over the factory ones that are in here, just for that little spot of detail. We'll be using an MGSF tumbler and key for the ignition in the dash. We will also be using, they're going to be hard to see, but these are switches. These will go on the dashboard. One's a nitrous switch. The other one would be engine kill. And then we'll be adding the normal, decals for the gauges. We got a bigger tachometer that'll go up on the dashboard. That'll get wired in. That will be visible through the windshield. Let's see what else. It also comes with a custom steering wheel, which is a lot better than the kit. We'll clean that up a little bit. We'll drill those holes out. We will probably give it the wood grain treatment, just like the, we want to keep some of the classic Mustang look to the car inside and out. Let's see. So that's for the interior. We'll get to the goodies box here. So I did my shopping. Here's the supports for the nitrous tank. Steel braided line. We've got the ignition pack that'll be going in there. We also have the nitrous tank. We got the decals and the handle for it, so that's all photo etch and aluminum. We have all the fittings, A&M fittings that we'll be using. Probably won't be using a lot because it's too much. We have the hood pin set we'll be using. We shaved it off the hood that was molded in. We'll just be replacing it with the photo etch, and the finish on that won't be a bare metal, it'll be black. Let's see what else we got in here. And here's all our nitrous decals, etc. Here's our brakes. Calipers are separate pieces, the hub's a separate piece, and then they are keyed to fit front and rear, so we'll be detailing those up. We have coilovers. These are the back ones. I've already labeled it back. These are from Top Studios. These are real metal, and if you clip them right, the center pin right, they will actually function, but we're not going to make it function on this. Let's see what else. We also have front, if I can find them. Here they are. These are from Future Attractions. These are the front coilovers, and I'll show you real quick what we got to do with that. So we'll have to drill this hole out right here a little bigger. That'll allow the coilover to go down through there into the lower control arm, which is on the thing here. And per the instructions, you got to clip the pins off, because those new hubs are done lost train of thought what those are called, spindles, key on to fit over this part right here, and then they go up over top, and there's a little key gluing point for the top of the control arm, and then your thing will go down through there and then come up through the shock towers. We are going to remove the battery. We'll be using the aftermarket battery and cables, clamps. We got to shave the shock towers down a little bit right in here just to give a little extra clearance for the headers. It's not going to require much. I've already dry fitted that in and kind of looked to see what I got to do. We'll use the key points on the back for the coilovers, and then the rear suspension. I've got that somewhere. It's right here, and it wouldn't be a true drift car if we used the factory diff. So what we're going to do is use one of mine, 3D printed 4-link Ford 9-inch. We're going to install that, make some brackets where we need to get that fit in there. Same, the height that needs to be, the same width, all that happy stuff. But there's our 4-link setup, and then the coilovers. There is brackets on the diff. You can get that out. So if you look, there's the brackets for the coilovers, and then there's the brackets for the links. Very detailed, 9-inch. I'm not for sure if we got to narrow this or not. We can kind of line it up here. It looks like we may have to, because we're going to use these. We'll clip these off and adapt them to these. Yeah, we're only going to have to shave about a 1/16 of an inch off each end, which will be fine. And I got a little trick for you. See, so I had a deformity in my print, how it's more flat instead of round. I'm going to show you guys right here and right now, that way we can get out of the way. Go to Hobby Lobby. 2 bottles for like $3.99. That's 3D printed resin in there. And I'll show you another part that I broke that I repaired using this, and that's great. So if you guys use 3D printed parts, this is a great tip, great technique to use. I can build this back up just by squirting a little resin on there. Get it to come out first. And you just build it up slowly. You're not going to get it all in the first shot. And you're better off to have a little more. So you can see I got some liquid on there. Little light, hit it. I mean, in seconds, it's cured. You can touch it. Best to do it for about a minute or two, get it 100% cured. And then you just keep adding it and building up the layers where you need to. So I'll show you, I'll put a little bit more on here, right here. And then all it is sanding it down, smoothing it out, which this stuff sands very easily. I use those little sanding sticks, the gray and the black. I don't know what grit they are. Maybe this will tell me. 100 and 180 grit. And then I come back over it with some 2,000, 3,000 until I get it smooth. But, I mean, it's just that quick, guys. You just keep building it up to where you get the circumference of this. And another great trick, if you use 3D printed resin engines, which we're using the Coyote Voodoo. I think I've mentioned this before. We've got it mocked up because all this is going to get painted aluminum, so it's not a big deal that it's all put together. I went around all the seams with the resin and cured it. It filled them in beautifully. The gap between the transmission and the engine, from cutting this off the kit engine, I needed this to line up perfect in order to clear the firewall or firewall. And you can see it's sitting in there perfect. Not too much of a lean, just about right where it needs to be. And I got all this room in front for the pulleys. We're going to have an electric fan. We're going to have a dry sump, an oil cooler. So we'll have all that detail, and we got to have room for all that. So this worked out beautifully. And there's a locator pin on the transmission that goes in the cross member, and it just, I mean, like it was made. Now I did clip the tops of the motor mounts. Those will get repainted just so the engine went down. Whoops. Like that. So these are very easy modifications you can make to fit your engine of your choice in something like this. Now this helps that this kit is 1/24 scale, so it's a hair bigger. The engine is, I printed it in 1/25 scale. I did that on purpose. I wanted it to be just a hair smaller to accommodate the engine compartment. I didn't want to put a 1/24 scale engine down in here and then be limited and have to do a lot of modifications for the shock tower, because again, we're trying to retain as much of the original Mustang as we can. And as model builders, we can do what we want. It's, our idea, our design. The paint job on this car, I scrolled for hours looking for different paint job ideas because I couldn't come up with nothing. I had something in mind originally, but then I was like, I don't know. I don't know. The more I thought about it, I was like, no. It's kind of plain. It was classy and elegant, but I wanted to stand out no matter what show I go to. And if it never goes to a show, if it's sitting on my shelf, I want it to stand out and grab people's attention and go, wow, is that decals? No, that's paint. That was hours of masking and painting. The colors, you may ask. So I always start off when I do a trans kit with a light gray. It shows your defects a lot easier. Our final coat of primer, which will be 3 coats, will be black. And I use the Mr. Surfacer color 1500. I'll dry sand that down with 3000 just to groove it up to, take the paint. It will get painted. Well, let's put it this way. There'll be some masking then. On this car, the pictures you'll see, it is a charcoal gray across the hood with an orange stripe. And then in the back, nothing across the roof. In the back, it's black with the same orange stripe, and then a very thin black stripe on the edge of the orange. This will be flat black, charcoal gray, and orange. We'll be using the Splash Paints Gulf Orange. Each wheel will have an orange bar on it, just like in the picture you see. The difference is the white will be pearl white. I am going with the pearl white. I think I want to that was my original plan, and I want to stay with that. I just like the other color options to go with this. So, we got 3 colors, the charcoal gray, the flat black, and the orange. There is another color. It's a little lighter shade of orange. I'm not adding that color. And as far as, if you look at the picture of the, what do you want to call this? The spoiler here, air dam, whatever you want to call it, side skirt, is black in the same way with the chin spoiler. On mine, they will not be. This will all be white, even across the front here. And the only difference is that orange stripe will carry it down along with the charcoal gray, down across the front of this and down the chin spoiler. So if you kind of understand what I'm talking about, where it ends on the hood, I'm going to carry it on down. And that is still an option. Once I start masking off, I may, change my mind. But as far as once this is in black primer, that area back here will all get masked off. So that black, when I spray the white pearl, when I pull the tape, that all that black will be there. And then all I have to do is mask over the black back here and figure my stripe, and then tape everything else off, and then I can spray the orange stripe. It does not carry over the back of the trunk. That is also an option of, instead of ending it on the trunk, carrying it down to the lower valance here and down the rear spoiler. That is still a possibility. I don't like copying somebody else's artwork to the T, even though it's very elegant and clean back here. The corners round over and just follows the edge of the trunk line. I want to change it up a little bit to make it mine. Like I said, this is 24 hours. And we still got some final sanding to do. I had to sand down a lot of the wide body kit to get it lower. I didn't like how it raised up. And it actually could have probably sat a little lower when I installed it. But I used a new ball of glue, and that crap set up immediately, so I kind of had to run with it. No worries. I mean, it all is, perfectly good. It's not cattywampus or anything. It sits flat like it's supposed to. The wheels will be gloss black. And we can take a look at those outloaded. Yeah, they are. Here's one. So here's one of our tires. It has raised white letters on it. I'll probably pick those out. I like that. And they'll be white, so that it'll contrast with the white paint really well. But if you look at those wheels, you can see those grooves down in there. Only one of those will be colored in with an orange paint. And then the lug nuts will be chrome. And the center cap will probably be chrome as well, just to make it pop out and stand out. Because the pony emblem for the front, everything will be black. The grill will be gloss black. The trim will be flat black, and then the pony will be chrome. I've got those here too. Here we go. Whoops. Here's one of the grills. This is the one that gets the trim on it, which is right here. I've not painted it yet, but that will be flat black, and then the pony that goes inside there will be chrome, retaining some of that elegant Mustang features. The black, or the back pan, it is done, other than getting clear coated and of course the taillights put in. And then I've got he gives you 2 options for your gas cap. I like the kit because it's a Cobra and it will fit in there. I got it, if I don't drop it, lose it. So you can see it right there. Get it to focus. There you go. Kind of see the Cobra on there. We will strip the chrome off this, sand the edges, get it all straightened out, and then we'll re-chrome it. That will go on here. The face of the bezels here will get chromed. So you can see what where I'm going at. I don't want all that chrome, but I want some chrome features on the outside. And you may say, well, that's just too much. No, I think it's going to look very well. And here's the key thing. We're going to do it before we install it. This will be the last piece that goes on the car, one of the last pieces. And so if I don't like the chrome, I can just lightly sand this all down, reshoot it in flat black, and install it. So it's not a game changer or anything like that. So you've seen the rear suspension. He gives you, if you use the rear suspension in the kit, he gives you, got to clip off primarily right where that white spot is on both sides, and he's got a bracket that replaces it for the suspension. I can kind of, with that 4-link, I can set where I need to be, and it's something you won't see when it's in there, but there'll be a little pin between the bottom of the diff and the floor pan here to set that ride height. And that's all going to be on our coilovers. We'll assemble the coilovers, dry assemble them, kind of put it all together and see where we're at. Our 4 links are going to be modified because when this is sitting in there, it doesn't give a lot of room for the upper arms. So they'll be very short. The top ones, not so short. They'll come up and they'll adapt in here. I got some brackets I can put in there for the detail and really dress it up. And yeah, so the other thing we'll be doing is from the front clip here to the back clip, we'll be adding in the structural support. So yes, this will go into paint again. I just wanted to get it painted and kind of see where everything's at. I don't have real good eyes anymore, so this black really brightens it up, so to speak. It shows me where holes are, so if I look through there I can see holes. I know where alignment is. I can tell where I got to fill in holes, which is where the old leaf springs would go. Fill in these back here. We will be using the factory exhaust only because the way his design is for the tailpipes. I'll just snap it down in here real quick. We've not cut it yet. You do have to cut the length off. And these actually may hold the diff, now that we got that in there, where I need it to be as far as height. Yeah, and it kind of does look like it does. So that's, if I get the differential right, there we go. Yeah, clears the tunnel. So yeah, we're not going to have to probably do anything. And we'll verify this with the kit's diff, because I know that's the height. So if we need to raise it up, we'll raise it up a hair. And that's where that little pin will come in and play. And then also the length of our coilovers, they have to be adjusted, which means I just cut that center pin down so they get shorter to fit in here. But we want that look of real coilovers in here. And then the modification where I told you about. So here's your exhaust tips that come with the trans kit. Somehow, I guess when I was cutting the support off, let's see if we can get up there. You can kind of see where it's lighter gray there. I chunked that whole section out, and I just put a piece of aluminum tube down inside here, and then used that resin and cured it, and it filled it back in. And I've sanded it. I still need to do a final sand, and I'll add more if I need to, but I don't think I do. There is one little spot I do need to add just a hair more to it, but it fixed it. It saved the part, because it's not like I'm going to spend $100+ to go get these parts again. I don't have the file for these, and these are keyed right here to fit right down in there. Oops, sorry, right down in there. So basically where that white part is there, that would get clipped off, and these go in and replace that. That way they come out through the rear bumper, valance, air dam, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, $3.99 for 2 bottles. These are great for glue too, guys. If these bottles seal very well, they give you a little thing on here. It's a flat tip. It's not angled, but it's very, very small. And like I say, you get 2 of these. You just fill it up with some 3D printed resin. Go to your buddy's house if you don't have a 3D printer. Have him fill this little bottle up for him. Give him a couple bucks. And when you're working on 3D printed parts, if you break something or take a chunk out of something, go get you a tube of this at your local hardware store or on Amazon. Zap it. They give you one of these every time you buy a tube. This is great stuff too. You'll use the crap out of it and fall in love with it. I mean, you just put a little drop on there, hit it, cure it, let it sit for a minute or 2, sand it, shape it, add a little more, sand a little bit more, whatever you got to do, and you can repair your piece. So where you break it, you're like, oh crap, I'm just out $20. No, you're not. Simple solution. $3.99, $9.99. This will last you for 2 or 3 builds or more. Use it sparingly. It doesn't take a lot. Put a little drop on there, hit it. You keep moving. You don't have to wait for super glue to dry or spray this stuff all over it and have all that crap. And I love this stuff, but it has a place and a purpose. When you're gluing tiny little pieces like photo etch on your final paint job, you don't want to spray that all over it. A little drop with a toothpick, put your part on there, boom, hit it. It's cured instantly. Or use white glue, whatever you're comfortable with, but alternatives. I love this stuff. I got just a little bit in here. I probably got enough for this build. I'll probably go pick up another tube just to be safe. And then as far as other interior details, a fire extinguisher will be going in here. I got to find one. I got plenty of kits. I'm sure there's one in a kit. We'll doctor it up, dress it up, make it look a lot better. That'll go down in between the seats on the console, behind the shifter. Our nitrous tank, remember, will go back here. You'll be able to see that detail. The roll cage will be that orange. We're going to go with a darker gray interior. So it'll be the gray, orange, and black, and hints of chrome. And keeping it classy, we may not do the steering wheel in wood grain. That's open for debate. We also got in here, these are our A&M fittings, different angles. Those are chromed and ready to be anodized. There's the factory dash. We're going to doctor that up a little bit, and we got an emblem to put on there that came with the kit. 2 fender emblems. He gives you quite a few choices of things. Here's our keys. The tumblers are over there. We've even got a chrome coil down in here. We're going to use that, even though it's really not in a modern engine like that. You wouldn't use that kind of coil, but I think it's really cool to kind of mix and match. I'm not trying to build this car to make it look like it'd be an absolute real car. Just very cool. And as you can see, our coilovers will be replacing the coil springs in the front. So as long as they are this length, once I put them together, I know they're going to fit in there. I just have to drill the holes bigger to accommodate the coils to go down through the control arms. There's our radiator, actually that's the front of the radiator, our horns. Our radiator is somewhere in here. Here it is. So we're going to put a little electric fan on the front of that. We'll get it wired up. The mirrors come with the trans kit. Those will get painted orange, and then we'll chrome the inside. We're just going to kind of, I'm going to try a trick. Don't know if it'll work, but I have some clear UV resin, and I'm going to try to mix in some chrome with it and cure it and see what it looks like. If it works, then that's what I'll do. I'll just fill in the space in there with that mixture and then cure it and have a nice chrome mirror. If it doesn't work, I'll just paint it chrome. It does come with louvers for the back window. and it tells you to use the louvers on the kit. Well, you know me, I'm ignoring that. I'm not using the side louvers. We're going to have glass, just like the picture, inspiration picture. The louvers we'll use on a different Mustang. I got 2 or 3 of these, so we'll use those because I do like the louvers. We'll use those on that build. And then we've got our belts and doodads. We've got fog lights that go up under the front. There's the tail lights. They're all in clear, so they'll get ambered and clear red. The headlights, we're not using that. Well, I'm still leery of this, but this is my idea, guys. So if you look, it's all molded in. The ones he gives you just goes on that surface. So I'm going to drill those out. And there's space to get in there behind it. And we're going to French in the LED headlights. And then we're going to use the kit lenses. This is where it gets very funky and leery. Hopefully I didn't lose them. There. So you can see they're gridded. We're going to try to sand all that grid off there and then repolish them back out. And if I can't get it 100%, I'll probably put some UV resin over it to clear them up, crystal clear them. And then those will go down in here like so over this. Now I could drill these out and put real LEDs in there, but I'm not going to that extreme on this build. Too much, a lot of other detail. I allowed 3 months for this build, and I kind of stick to my guns on this so I can move on with other projects. But I like the looks of these. I mean, I'll just set one up there for you. Just to, it's going to be hard because they don't fit through the front, so that's why we're going to put them in through the back. So yeah, we got to get those cut out, and then I'll file around. I'll just drill a hole somewhat big enough, take my knife and score it, and then I got some round files, and we'll file it out, smooth it off with some sandpaper, round it up, and then that'll all get painted body color, and then these will go in behind it. And then here's a little bit better option, so you can see the headlight fits over it. Now we may sand these down a little bit all the way around, take some of that circumference off them. We may look through some other parts and see if I got some smaller ones, which I probably do. And then if I do, then that will opt out these and use those. That's yet to be determined. We will use the rear view mirror. Like I said, we want to keep as much as the original Mustang as possible. This is a kind of a pro touring drift car, so to speak. Here's our waste can that we'll be using. I printed this. 2 lines go down to the oil pan. 2 lines on top come from each valve cover, which I'll have to drill a hole, put a fitting in there, and we'll run the lines over to these. Very tedious. Here's our intake for the VU engine. Kind of hard to see. We got crap on there. We've also got some vacuum lines up here and the throttle linkage. We'll probably get a bracket on there. I have some photo etch brackets and make a rod to go back for the throttle. Let's see. What else do we got here real quick? Kind of takes care of all that. Oh, we also use the 3D resin I was talking about, this little trick here. And we seamed all this in. It works very well in 3D resin, of course. Hard plastic, you can do really small areas. Like I filled in the corner bezels, the seam for that. I filled that in with the 3D resin and it did okay. Small little imperfections on the body it does okay on. Let it cure really good before you go sanding on it. I usually put it on there, I'll cure it for 2 to 4 minutes. Check it, sand it a little bit. If it seems like it's peeling away or pulling up, I'll clean it off. I'll roughen that area up a little bit more and then hit it again, and that usually does the trick. But it does very well on anything 3D printed. But yeah, it filled in all our gaps, so when we paint all this, it'll all be, filled in, seamless as we can get. We just got some work to do down the body lines here. And then our hood, like I said, we'll be adding the photo etch pins back here, and those will get black. The hood is It's similar to the scoop on the inspiration picture. It's just a lot taller. Doesn't care. I want this scoop on here. I don't need the clearance. My engine is well underneath the hood line. It's not necessary. I was originally probably going to go with a 427 twin turbo that Motabus Yin has out now, and I would still have plenty of room for the intercooler, air filters, and then if not that, the 427 with the top loader transmission and the fuel injection stacks. That's why I allowed this, so those stacks would sit up here on both sides. But it's not needed. So this will still get detail painted underneath here. I removed the injection marks. We got to do some more sanding. Then this will all get detail painted, just like the OEM hood would have. Insulation in there. It'll be white underneath. And then, what else? Here's the rest of the parts. There's a lot of little parts to this engine. Here's one of the valve covers. It even has the dipstick on it, which is cool. I don't know if you can see it down in the bag or not, right there where my finger is. That goes on top of the valve cover. But what we'll be doing is drilling a hole somewhere on the lower half of the valve cover and installing an A-in fitting, a 90-degree one in there. And that's where the hoses will run from that to the catch can, and then down from there down to the oil pan. Most likely on the driver's side there's a spot here. I'm thinking that's where I want to put the catch can on top of that, so it'll give it a nice mounting point. Like I said, the battery, we are going to cut this battery out and put some styrene in there to close it back up. We'll sand it down, fill it in. This is going to get primer 2 or 3 more times before I get my final primer on here. So later today, that's probably what I'll be doing, is cutting the battery out of here, seeing what I got to put in there is flat styrene, and then that'll give us a little shelf to put the new battery on. So the new battery will be going right back where the old battery is. The coil will probably go in right over here next to the battery. And then our MDS boxes will probably go back here on the back of the firewall. And those are just ignition box because we're running a Coyote engine. It's all computerized, so we need the electronics to handle everything that we're doing to this. So let's see what else. You've seen all those parts. Oh, by the way, the scoops that I had for the side, they were 125th scale. 125th scale. So they were too small, so I'll put those back in the box for the kit to go with. That's off the Shelby Mustang. And yeah, so I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. I have been for a long time. We've pretty much done all of our shopping, which I just go back here, guys. It's where all my parts are and aftermarket parts, all that stuff. A lot of people will send me an email going, shopping, where do you shop at? Where do you get all your stuff at? Well, I get it right here. Where it comes from is a different story. But you can see there's one of the valve covers on there. The valve covers will get painted orange. The engine compartment will be black. The main engine and transmission will be aluminum. The cross frame, where do we go? Here it is. Shock tower support, that fits in there like it's supposed to, and that's going in there, and it does not interfere with the engine. So we get to retain some more of that Mustang stock features. This has got to be cleaned up. It's got a lot of flash on it and everything else, so we'll get it all sanded down. This will be gloss black. The engine compartment, the sides, I think all the engine compartment will be white. The core support will be white and the radiator will stay black. And we may even do, I got a couple of them, I got to find them, aftermarket radiators. We may see if we can get one to fit down in here. The problem with that is that's a little more work, but that may be worth it. Cutting out the, where'd it go? Did I not get it out? No, I didn't. I did once. So if we cut out the opening in the core support and remove the horns, we can apply that on there and get a little dimension to it instead of it being all molded in. So that's an option, because you'll be able to see through this grill. And the better the detail, the better you are. These little vents right here, we are definitely drilling those out. Those got mesh in there. We'll replace that with real mesh. And then it's just up to what kind of radiator I can find. This is a bigger engine, so it's going to really need a bigger radiator than the stock radiator. So we just got to be within our dimensions here. I may 3D print one and I'll size it down to fit. So that's still open. I just wasn't relishing having to cut that out after having to cut these out and get mesh in there and everything else. So we'll see. That's still open for debate, but it is a possibility. Now I lost, there it is. And on this one it's got the oil fill cap. The other one doesn't have that. Yeah, this goes on the drinker side. So, yeah. That's the Coyote Voodoo. There's separate pulleys, the alternator, all the doodads. If you remember the one I put in the 62 T-Bird. We just took our time a little bit more with this one. Got it all cleaned up. We're married. This is done. It's just ready to go in to be primered. We'll primer it all black, and then we'll shoot it with the Vallejo metallizers, aluminum, and then we can get these cleaned up, primered black, and then we'll shoot them with orange. We'll probably hit them with a satin. We might do gloss on the valve covers, because I think, in my opinion, this is not only a race car, it's a show car kind of too, so everything should be shiny and crisp and clean. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. I'm sorry for rambling on. Remember, like I said at the beginning of the video, watch the whole video. You'll have a good understanding of what direction we're going in with this. You know, this car sits, if this was the ground, you can see it just sits a hair off the ground. So it's very low. Great drift car, great pro touring, on handle like a dream. You know, sitting on coilovers, all four wheels, 4-link in the back. We're running the stock factory, just updated suspension in the front. Upper and lower control arms. They're aftermarket, is what we're saying. They're not, you know, true stock, but they're adequate for what we're doing to it. And then we're going to modify the headlights. Hopefully, this could be a total destruction of this so far, but we're going to do it in this stage. That way, if I have to, I can come in and put some styrene back in there, and then go with that was MGSF just contacted me back. I had some questions for him, and go back with what originally was here. So we're not destroying it. It's just, we want to see how it looks. If it looks good, we're going to roll with it. If it does not, we'll just go back to filling this back in, and then we'll use, I'm not real fond of the kit headlights. They're two-piece. There's a lens, and then there's a bezel that goes over top of it. It's very fiddly. I think I even cracked one of them already. Like I said, I can repair it with this, no problem. But at the end of the day, I do like the door handles. They're recessed in. We did etch that out a little bit. We got to clean it up a little bit more. We've cleaned up our body lines. All the trim on the outside will be gloss black. Around the windows, all the emblems, including that rear plate. The only difference is that black stripe is flat in the picture. So I like that, so I want to retain that. The other change I may make just real quick is, instead of using the charcoal gray, but that kind of flows into the interior being a darker gray. So if I use black there and just keep it all black and orange and pearl white, we may go with a tan interior. Doesn't change the roll cage. It doesn't change the two-tone parts in the interior. They'll still contrast with the exterior. Let's see. That's pretty much it. So you guys want to keep up with this build, like I hope you do. You know, you hit that bell notification. You see how that looks. And the hood's not down in there all the way. This hood was a little wide. It still needs a little sanding, but it'll sit down there when I'm all done. So there you go. That's the MGSF, what do they call this thing? Fat Boy? Wild Boy. Mustang Wild Boy. You need the 1/24 scale 1966 Mustang. Again, like I said, I think you could retrofit this to a 67 and even a 68. May require a little additional body work, but I think it would fit. And get you one. Check out Joel's page. Chances are he's got an idea of when it's being released, or if it's already been released, if he's letting it come out some more, and get a price. I think in European dollars, I think this was $101 or something like that, or $110 European. So it's probably about $130 US plus shipping. So if you can save $30, $40 on this, it's still a great thing to build, because you're not going to buy a model like this and let your imagination run wild, kind of like I'm doing. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And again, thank you to everybody, past, present, future subscribers. You guys keep it up. We're growing. We've almost gained 100 subs since Christmas. Fantastic. Show the other guys out here some love. Just start clipping through, YouTube, and watch the modelers. You're bound to find something that is enjoying to you. I have ones that I find that are informative, ones that I enjoy watching, ones for tips and tricks, paint ideas and methods of painting. Between me and every other modeler out there, we've got a slew of things to show you guys and inspire you to build a great model. So, till the next video, guys, this is Rusty Rotor. I'm out.